South Alabama. So we're playing a very good team, a sound defense, fundamentally sound defense. It's played really well. I think they're top 20 defense. And a great quarterback in Jacoby Brissett, very athletic. Reminds me of Ben Roethlisberger, big, strong kid that makes plays, extends plays for 8 to 10 seconds at times. Very good football player. So we'll have a great challenge with those elements. And then Nyheim Hines is a great returner, 100-yard return earlier this year, and I think he's averaging just under 30 yards a return in the kickoff return category, so we'll have a great challenge there with our coverage teams. So great challenge for the Orange, and we're looking forward to going down there with that.
How does it impact a player like Quintarius to kind of go from being quarterback to receiver to corner, and now I guess he's back at quarterback? How does he kind of handle that? And I know you praised him a lot on his attitude, but how does he as an actual player?
Well, I think with all young kids, you really don't get to see who they really are as players until they're in their second, third, fourth year as players. That's the truth of it. We've been blessed with some very good young talent. And I think our young talent, including Quintarius Womack, will continue to be good football players. In time, I think they can be great football players. When you put some beef on them in the off season and you hit the weight room, and you learn how to play the specific position that you'll end up playing for a longer time. We don't know where that'll be with Quintarius right now. Obviously, with the injury situations, he's been our movement guy right now because he is a great athlete. Kind of an insurance policy at all the positions you mentioned. At the quarterback position, we had some depth early in the season. Things didn't go well, obviously, with injuries to, a couple of our quarterbacks, obviously. So we felt we had to move him back from wide receiver to quarterback. Then when we had some injuries at the corner position, I started to get a little concerned. And I always felt like Quintarius could play corner because he's such a great athlete. He's a three-sport kid in high school, basketball player. You could see him move his feet on the basketball court, which is a lot about playing bump and run. Excellent shortstop in high school, baseball player, leadoff hitter, batted left-handed, could get down the line in a hurry. So you say there's a lot of skill sets there that give him a chance to play any of those three positions. In good time, we'll be able to put our hat on where he finishes. The great thing is he's all for whatever we ask him to do.
And how has he kind of improved from the first stint at quarterback when he came in to now when he's, I guess, getting a chance again?
Well, he's working at it. He'll be the first one to admit to you he's got a long way to go. But he does give us some elements. He can run the triple. I'll say that for him. I mean, he's pretty nifty at that for not being a guy that's had 1,000 reps against defense. So there's some elements there that he brings to the table. He needs to continue to learn how to read coverage and make good decisions with his eyes down the field.
Is he second or third string yesterday?
He's one of our three quarterbacks that are ready to play for NC State.
Nico and then Mark.
Coach.
Hi, Nico.
Coach, speaking of your set there, I'm just looking at 15 touchdowns, 2 picks, so pretty accurate guy. What do you do defensively to try and confuse him and hopefully make him turn the ball over?
Well, he's proven to be a great player since he's been in the conference, obviously. I remember in high school when he was down at Dwyer playing for Jack Daniels. What a great player. Great high school player. Went to Florida, transferred up to NC State, sat out a year. Preparing for him, I think a lot of this game plan, when you look at the whole picture, you look at offense, defense, kicking game, and how you can control their best players. You want to try to limit his opportunities, and I think part of that is playing some clock management football. You'd love to be able to possess the football, have some nice long drives where we keep him off the football field. I think it'll be key that we win the turnover ratio to give ourselves a chance to beat a good football team in NC State, and we have to do a great job controlling that return game. So the field's longer when they do have the ball. They're a big play offense. If you look at their productivity, a lot of their points come off big plays that he's made down the field with regard to extending plays and forcing a secondary to cover for a long time. So it'll be a great challenge for us. But those are some of the key elements, big picture, game-wise, that I think will be key.
Coach, you had 3 quarterbacks ready for NC State, so I'm assuming Eric Dungy's not one of them. Is he pretty much done for the season?
Well, I think you know what I'm probably going to say there. We'll follow the policy. It's Thursday, so tonight we'll release who's available for the game. And that'll come out in a few hours, Mark.
All right, can you talk more a bit about Zach and how much you look forward to seeing him maybe compete against non-top 10 teams, see what he can do?
Yeah, I mean, that's all he does. He goes against the best. That's who he is. The opportunities that he's had are opportunities to play against the best defenses in the country, and he'll have that opportunity here again Saturday. So I look forward to it. He is fun to coach. I enjoy seeing him on the sideline. He's got a neat personality in that when he comes off the field, if things didn't go well, would surprise me if he winks at me and says, "I got it, coach. I screwed up that play." I mean, that's who he is, which is kind of cool. So we'll have fun playing some football here this weekend and watching Zach compete against high-level talent.
I know that there's like a chance that there were some more bowl games this year, so there were some 5 and 7 teams that will get in the bowl. I mean, I guess does that kind of change the dynamic of how you might look at the outlook of the season, that there's still a chance you guys could play in the postseason?
Well, maybe a little bit. You know, the thing I always try to talk to the kids about is not changing who we are and the way we practice, regardless of how many wins or losses we've had. It's been that way everywhere I've been, albeit as a defensive coordinator. I always told the kids that when you turn on the film, it should not look any different, regardless of whether we are a 1-win team or a 10-win team. It should look the same, regardless if there's a carrot dangling out in front of us or not. If we stay true to being great workers and concentrating on things that are actually right in front of us and playing for 5 or 6 seconds in a play as hard as you can with respect to playing the game the right way. I know that sounds corny. It's not a sexy answer, but it's the real one. Just going about our business and saying our work will be really good while we're working, and trying to block out the outside elements for better or worse, either way. So we try to stay consistency. Not easy all the time, not easy. But life's not easy, and great lessons to be learned through playing this great game.
Time for 2 more questions. Tab.
Coach, success isn't always defined by how well we do, but how we're able to maintain our enthusiasm after getting knocked down a bunch of times. How do you manage to maintain your enthusiasm down these times?
Well, we're all human, God knows I am, and I make a lot of mistakes, and no different than everybody in this room. When things aren't going well, there's going to be instances where you feel bad and you feel sorry for yourself. And luckily I have an extremely strong woman in my wife Missy, who will kick me in the rump if she sees any of that. And before my dad went to a better place, that's the thing he said he loved about Missy, that she kicked me in the tail. And ever since I met her, I went through dealing with some tough breaks. I had 4 surgeries in college, and she was a part of a couple of those, career ending, like Terrell, really. And albeit my career was at a Division III level, it's all relative. And she was there to kick me in the rump when I felt sorry for myself. And she always says before I leave the door, she goes, "Those kids are counting on you to be a tough guy." And she uses different terms. I almost said it there, but she's right. I mean, she's right. And in this room we have a big group of kids. 105 kids. Playing the game, making mistakes as 18-year-olds to 21, 22-year-olds, and it's my job it's our job as coaches to be the men in the room and not feel sorry for ourselves, because the smartest guys in the room are the kids, and they can see right through you. And that's not to say there aren't days that I come in and I'm fighting the good fight to pick myself up, frustrated with, 3 overtime loss, last play of the game loss against Pitt, playing 2 of the better teams in the country, down to the wire at home in front of our home crowd, sitting in that 4th quarter feeling like we're going to get them. I've been here, done this before. I can feel it, and then you come up short. Beats you up, beats the hell out of you sometimes. But, I think I mentioned to Axe earlier, it beats filing paperwork and putting them in a drawer 9 to 5 every day. So at least I'm reminded that I got great challenges every day of my life, and a bunch of young men that are counting on us to fight and show through our actions that we're modeling the way to fight through difficult times. Great question.
Last question for Steve.
Scott, Nate reported Kadir and Amir, their second violation of the drug policy. Two-parter. One, what's your message to those guys? And 2, Do you know, it sounds like 50% of the season, do you know exactly when you're going to be able to get them back?
Let me just say this. I won't talk specifically about, a couple 18-year-olds. Both young men are suspended indefinitely, violation of team policies. I would say this. I think Nate did his job and did it well. Got information. That's your job, and I respect your job. Believe it or not, there's times you probably don't think that's true. But I would also say I think it's shameful, in my opinion, that any private information on an 18-year-old kid regarding, information that's leaked about whatever happened, I think that's a cowardice, anonymous source, in my opinion. I hate it. I hate it. I think it's cowardice, If you can't step up and say, hey, look, I'd like to talk about my teammates, or I'd like to talk about wherever the source came from, I think that's cowardice. So I struggle with that. I will end it with this part. I think our policies are right and good. And I think our policies are right and good because they have the best interest of our young men and women in this program. And the focus is running a program of great integrity. And we're embarrassed when our kids fail. We're embarrassed. It's no different than my two children at home. When they fail and they make a bad decision, it kills you, it beats you up. But if we're truly a family, if we call ourselves an extended family as a program, not just the football team, but the athletic department, what do you do as a family? You rally, you try to help those kids help themselves. If they do, great, they learn great lessons that they can pass on to their children someday. If they don't, they won't be part of the program. Without speaking specifically to any one or two or 5 or 10 kids, I'd say disappointment, not discouraged, and moving forward.
Thanks, Scott.
All good? Thanks.